Wow guys, what a day. We have so many news and most of them, well, I would say for us they're quite good, and I would start from the Ukrainian topic. But we are also going to discuss the situation going in political life in the United States of America, the beef between Elon Musk and Donald Trump. It went absolutely crazy, as we predicted from the very beginning. But yeah, first of all, Ukraine, or it's better to say the Russian Federation, and their huge loss. It happened in the Bryansk region. There Ukraine cancelled for the first time at least one of the Russian Iskanders, and two more were damaged. We have this video image, I shared it on my Telegram channel. Attackers hit the Russian position of 3 Iskanders launchers. And guys, it's the huge loss for Russia, because we have the reliable information that Russia was planning the ballistic strike on Kiev using those missiles, not far away from Klintsy village. Here we have the map of Ukraine. Let's go to the Russian territory, Bryansk Oblast. So Klintsy is over here. So right on the direct track towards Kiev or Chernihiv Oblast. And yeah, our military says that the main aim for those Iskanders was Kiev. It is very hard to intercept those ballistic missiles coming from Iskanders. Only Patriot systems may do it. Iskanders look like this, and by the way, this is the loading track, so the system consists of the loading track, command post, and the launching units. Here we go with the vehicles itself. Because of the electronics, this stuff also costs lots of the funds, like millions of dollars. Assuming that according to the image there was the total loss of a single unit and 2 more were damaged at least, it is the significant loss for the Russian army. Moreover, Ukraine prevented the strike of Russia on probably sensitive facilities in Kiev. Yeah, after all, Russia struck some of the Ukrainian facilities today. This used to be the local administration building of the Kherson Oblast. Kherson, the city and the region which Russia considers a Russian one according to their constitution, but here they used aviation gliding bombs, 2 times striking this same building. Luckily, according to the information coming, there was no one inside the building by the time of the strike. But today Russia also hit the other regions of Ukraine, causing civilian losses. For example, Priluki in Poltava region of Ukraine, and also in Chernihiv, where Russian missile hit just random house in the village. Unfortunately, the local family was in the house and they all gone. So by the time Ukraine strikes Russian Iskanders, Russia attacks Ukrainian civilians. That is their revenge. Well, we have the report now from the monitoring channels that Russia already launched their remaining Tupolev 95 airplanes to attack Ukraine this night. But still, they've done it even before Ukrainian massive strike on Russian military bases. Well, there could be some of the staff from Russia. Maybe they'll hit the central part of Kiev, where the government quarters are located, the building of parliament, presidential office, but Ukraine has air defense there. Hopefully, it will cope with everything. And you know, even if Russia hits that part of Ukrainian infrastructure, it is not that important for Ukraine. Zelensky may operate from the different building, as well as Ukrainian government if they really want. So those kind of the strikes will not stop Ukraine. And yeah, yesterday Donald Trump spoke with Vladimir Putin. I guess Putin called to Donald Trump complaining about Ukrainian strikes on Russian facilities. Well, Donald says that Putin will have to respond on the recent attack on the Airfield. So it's the first time American president announces the possible strike on Ukraine, which is, as for me, crazy. Because we are simply losing the point here. It was the Ukrainian response, actually, on the Russian attacks on Ukraine. Ukraine hit the Russian strategic aviation because it was used to hit Ukraine at first. Russia started this war, so Ukraine all the time responses, but here Donald Trump says about respawn. And yeah, they discussed the attack on the Russians' docked airplanes. They're not docked, they're constantly in use, and in my latest video I showed you that. Many airplanes were refueled because they sparked right away after drone strikes, and also there were some of the Ha-101 missiles, so the airplanes were getting ready for one more attack on Ukraine, and Ukraine did everything for it not to happen. Well, it seems like Russia still has capabilities to launch more of the airplanes, but Ukraine will work on that too. Meanwhile, the actual source says that Trump admires Ukraine's badass attack but worries what is next. He compared the strike with a small Chihuahua dog biting the big one. He said like that, according to Axios. A kind of the strange comparison, but it's all about Donald Trump. So why he worries that those strikes could happen elsewhere now, including American bases. American bases are located also elsewhere. Ukraine demonstrated that having limited budget, you may conduct very complicated operations, which could lead to significant circumstances for the very powerful side. And yeah, I heard some of the voices blaming Ukraine for getting this gene out from the battle, but Ukraine was forced to do it. Basically, our allies, including United States of America, forced Ukraine for these tactics because Ukraine has not enough military support, and indeed, Russia is much bigger military power compared to Ukraine, so Ukraine has to come out with new ideas of how to deal with it. That's why we experienced the huge technological progress during the Second World War. Then, for example, Nazi Germany leaders understood that they're not winning the war and they have to come out with new ideas. And they developed jet fighter airplanes and lots of the other stuff. And there was also job done from Germany, the attempt to create nuke, and America was first, luckily. So without the Second World War, all of that development could be postponed for decades. And now it's the similar story where we speak about drone technologies and artificial intelligence. For the last couple of years, the importance of the drones rose dramatically, and drones may seize a nuclear threat, as you may see. So yeah, if you do not follow the Budapest Memorandum, you also create the threats for yourself. If you do not help Ukraine, there could be some other weaponry created, like drone weaponry, which potentially could be used against allies by some random group, so you don't need even to have the army for this kind of the tactics. So obviously it was much better to help Ukraine with absolutely everything, and Ukraine wouldn't need to come out with this variant. Alright, what we have here is the new video of the Ukrainian MiG-29 in operation. They dropped some of the aviation gliding bombs, probably French-made, on Totkino village of Russian Federation, and there Ukraine actually propels forward. According to the information published by the Moscow Center 3 Analytic, there is now the risk of the Russian group, the 58th Airborne Brigade, to be encircled in Totkino. Sorry, it's 56th Airborne Regiment of the Russian Federation, of the Russian Army, because here Ukraine attacks from two of the directions, as you may see, and Ukraine is very close to cut the supplies for Russians. And here goes just the river, so definitely Russians could be easily jammed out there. And you may see constant Ukrainian aviation strikes on Totkino, so Ukraine doesn't hesitate to use aviation elsewhere, including the Russian territory. So Russia may advance to Sumy. Yeah, they're now advancing towards Sumy. For the last week, quite a lot, taking more villages. We're gonna speak about it at the end of this video. But at the same time, they leave their forces on the Russian territory under the great threat of even being encircled. So yeah, it could be a big victory for Ukraine, which would cause Russia to send reinforcements here from the Kursk region and also from the Sumy. That's the idea, actually, from the Ukrainian military command to disturb and to deflect the Russian forces in Totkino, for example. Yeah, Putin says that the Kursk operation of Ukraine is over, that all of the Ukrainian army forces were repelled from Russian regions, but in fact, it's not like that. And as you see, Ukraine recently moved quite a lot in this sector. Alright, we have some breaking news. Ukraine also launched the strike on the Russian facilities. This is the Bryansk airport, where Russia stored probably the air defense missiles or more Iskanders, because you may see the rocket fuel. The image was published just 2 minutes ago, so very fresh information. One more Russian military airfield is under attack. This time it's not the FPV drone operation from the tracks, no, those were the long-range Ukrainian drones. And this is what is happening in Crimea, so all of those strikes were stopped by Russia 4 checks. They're going to Crimea from the occupied place of Melitopol. Yeah, Russia also sends their cargo through some of the roads, and all of the tracks are unable to move for many hours. That's the total collapse of the Russian logistics caused by incompetent Russian officials. They implemented those checks post factum after all of those strikes done by Ukraine. They should have done it before, but now waving their fist in the air after the fight is over, it's the classical Russia. Alright, according to the information coming, Russia deployed their Navy ships into the strike positions in Sevastopol, Crimea, but at the same time, Ukraine is launching the drone boats heading to the same direction. The Russian monitoring channels report about the drones coming to the shore of Crimea, so now Russia tries to fight those drones. In the minutes I'm filming this video. The idea from Russia is to launch their Caliber cruise missiles from their ships, but Ukrainians' idea is to cancel those strikes using drone boats. I hope Ukrainian drones will be more successful this night. Also, Russia sent many of the Shahid drones, but it's the usual picture almost for every night in Ukraine. Around 100 drones were spotted. Alright, it is happening now between the border of Kazakhstan and Russia. Kazakhstan officials say that probably it's the space object or meteorite, but some sources say that it's unsuccessful launch of the Russian Oreshnik missile on Ukraine, because the launching spot is also located not far away from Kazakhstan. Well, so far I cannot prove this information, guys. I'm waiting for more confirmation. Doesn't look like meteorite, it looks like the debris from the spacecraft or missile. Yeah, lots of the videos were filmed about it. Now, my friends, I want to tell you that your kind support is very important for me to continue to work and upload videos almost every day on my YouTube channel. So many thanks for your kind support on Patreon and also on membership of this channel. Guys, you're doing absolutely great stuff and awesome job. Thank you so much for it. And if you don't have the opportunity to support me or you don't want to do it, just press your like and subscribe to the channel. By doing so, you propel the video in YouTube algorithms. Thank you so much for it as well. Alright guys, let's go back to this orange idiot and what he says about Ukraine and Russia. He compared Ukraine and Russia fight to the fight of couple of kids. I increased the speed of the video, so let's listen.
You know, I gave the analogy yesterday when I spoke to President Putin. I had a 2-hour and 15-minute call with him.
So 1 hour turned into 2 hours. Okay.
Sometimes, and this is me speaking maybe in a negative sense, but sometimes you see two young children fighting like crazy. They hate each other and they're fighting in a park. And you try and pull them apart. They don't want to be pulled. Sometimes you're better off letting them fight for a while and then pulling them apart. And I gave that analogy to Putin yesterday. I said, President, maybe you're going to have to keep fighting and suffering a lot because both sides are suffering before you pull them apart, before they're able to be pulled apart. But it's a pretty known analogy. You have two kids, they fight. Sometimes you let them fight for a little while. You see it in hockey, you see it in...
You let them fight for a little while. So he perceives Ukraine and Russia as the same, like, kids, but oh my god, Russia attacked Ukraine. What is he speaking about? This guy is so delusional, my friends. Yeah, United States turned to complete idiocracy. Sorry guys, if you live in United States, I hope in 3.5 years you'll handle it, or maybe sooner. But now the government elected is absolutely crazy. They are idiots, they're incompetent. The values of humanity are totally absent. And yeah, I'm speaking about your government, not about your country. Your country is beautiful. I love America, love Americans, but not this one.
Sports. The referees let him go for a couple of seconds, let him go for a little while before you pull him apart. And maybe, and I said it, and maybe that's a negative because we're saying go, but a lot of bad blood. There's some bad blood.
So Putin is basically humiliating Donald Trump. Actually, now everyone is humiliating Donald Trump, including Elon Musk. We're going to speak about it today. And Donald Trump is saying, okay, we're going to let it go. We're going to let them fight. It's just an excuse for Donald not to apply sanctions on Russia. That's the only thing I see. That's why he compares the fight between Russia and Ukraine to some sort of the kids fight in the school or in a park. It's uncomparable, actually. So what I think that Donald Trump just gives Putin the green light for continuation of the war, not pushing Russia even slightly.
between those two men, but between the warring parties, great hatred.
What can you say and believe apparently that there's no immediate peace?
What?
That there's no immediate peace. No.
I can't. I'd love to have immediate if I could.
But why
if I could, but we don't have immediate. You know, it's like I'd love to have that. I'd like it to start right now. We would leave a room if we knew the war could end. We'd say, forget about you guys. Forget about trade, right?
Yeah.
We'd say, let's go settle it. There's some additional fighting that's going to go on. You know, he attacked, and they attacked pretty harshly. They went deep into Russia, and he actually told me. I mean, I made it very clear. He said we have no choice but to attack based on that, and it's probably not going to be pretty. I don't like it. I said, don't do it. You shouldn't do it. You should stop it. But again, there's a lot of hatred.
So here Donald Trump is like excuses Putin's possible attack, which could happen even this night on Ukraine. He calls it a response. Again, I already told you how it looks in real life. It was Ukrainians' response on Russian strikes using strategic bombers, but for Donald, it's the Russian logical response on Ukraine. And also Trump avoided all of the questions about applying sanctions on Russia, and it is understandable that he didn't even look at the Graham's proposal, the law proposal, the project that it is out there in Senate, and the majority of the senators are willing to vote for it, but Donald Trump still doesn't give the green light. Also, Donald Trump avoided the question of whether he may continue the support of Ukraine or not. I guess, after all, not. Alright, now about the big drama between Elon Musk and Donald Trump. What happened to them? They were such close friends, you know, in a Tesla together. But now you already know what is happening, guys. If you visit X or Twitter, it's better to say sometimes. It is a huge divorce with public accusations. Oh, guys, the beef is out there, it's unbelievable, and we're gonna discuss some of the topics, because Elon Musk is now publishing everything live on his Twitter page. And his main idea now is to impeach Donald Trump. Really, he wrote about it. You know, guys, at the very freaking beginning, I predicted that their friendship would not last even a year. But even me, I didn't expect this divorce to be that harsh at this high level and so public. It really shows that two of those idiots, they cannot live together. Do I support someone of them? Well, I think Donald Trump is more idiot compared to Elon Musk. But at the same time, I think for everyone, Elon Musk is more dangerous, because ideas which he brings, potential ideas for humanity, is the total devastation for us. He wants to implement some sort of the techno-fascism, and I'm gonna film the separate video about it, I already promised you, but definitely it's the topic for 1 hour video at least. And yeah, I post about their confrontation all the day on my Telegram channel. Here Elon Musk is against the BBB, big beautiful budget of Donald Trump, so he posted those kind of the pictures. Money Doge has saved the government. Trump's big beautiful bill just crushes all of the Elon Musk savings. Elon Musk actually lied about the large number of the savings, but nevertheless he now blames Donald Trump. Meanwhile, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says that he supports the bill that was, you know, created by Donald Trump and his team, one big beautiful bill. So American people will benefit from it, blah blah blah. The major stuff, as I understand here, that Donald Trump wants to print more dollars, to go into the debt more and more, but Elon Musk is strongly against it. But you know, actually, Elon Musk doesn't really care. He uses it as an excuse to pressure Donald Trump, to create this massive hate wave using BBB, and to impeach Donald Trump, call somehow for him to resign and to cooperate with J.D. Vance. How do I know it? Well, Elon Musk says about it himself, openly. So here's this tweet of Elon Musk and response, where Elon Musk accuses Donald Trump of being pedophile. He says that Donald Trump is in Epstein files, that is why those files have not been released yet. Mark this post for the future, the truth will come out. And someone retweeted it. President versus Elon, who wins? My money is on Elon. Trump should be impeached and J.D. Vance should replace him. Well, Elon says yes on this post. So yeah, it's open, it's over here. Elon supports this statement and he's openly against Donald Trump. Donald Trump was risking a lot putting Elon into his team, and that risk actually backfired, as we may see. Well, I expected Donald Trump to be smarter and not get into this fight openly, but after all, he's an idiot, so he went into it full in. Here's his recent post on Truth Social. The easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars, is to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts. I was always surprised that Biden didn't do it. The guy who was promoting Tesla several months ago says that he's surprised that Biden didn't do it. The guy who had Elon in his team and he was praising him. Oh my freaking god. But you know what? Elon already replied on that Trump's tweet, and it is very serious, guys. In the light of presidential statement about cancellation of my governmental contracts, SpaceX will begin decommissioning its Dragon spacecraft immediately. And this is very serious, my friends. It shows how dependent the government and the country itself could be on private companies. Because if they don't like your political regime, for example, as Elon Musk, they may cancel all of the launches to the space. And what else can you do? You know, how can you deliver your spy satellites out there if you don't have alternative? Well, NASA works, as you may say, but NASA was in full cooperation with SpaceX, and they used their rockets to deliver people and cargo to the space and from the space. Just recall the Boeing company and their failure with the spaceship, which caused astronauts to stay in the space for 9 freaking months. And only with SpaceX they were returned back. So definitely SpaceX plays a great role. Also Starlink. I'm using Starlink right now because I'm in a remote place. It helps a lot. It also helps Ukraine, it helps the United States in general. And those features, they're very sensitive and could be used by managers of those huge corporations to blackmail the government. And to control it, actually, that is what Elon Musk wants to achieve. Elon bet his money on Donald Trump, but he didn't achieve the result, so now he tries to find the other solution, to impeach Donald Trump, to get rid of him and put J.D. Vance in power, somehow. And guys, write me in the comment section whether you think that Elon will achieve his result. For me, I said you already, I don't like both of them, but I think that Elon Musk is more dangerous because he represents, after all, not the country, but his own private corporation. Well, Donald Trump also sees America as his private corporation, but he's more affiliated with the country. He's a damn idiot, he likes dictator, but choosing between two, it's very hard, but I think that the aim of Elon Musk is not just the United States of America. No, he wants to put his influence elsewhere. Remember how he supported AfD in Germany? So yeah, I guess he is more dangerous. And yeah, Elon even wants to create a new political party in America that actually represents 80% of the middle. Yes, 81.8% voted for this new party. Elon Musk retweeted some of the old Donald Trump's videos saying that Trump partied with Jeffrey Epstein. The Trump tariffs will cause a recession in the second half of this year. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, Trump says that Elon just went crazy. You may check it out yourself on Elon's page. What is happening, guys, is the absolute humiliation of the United States politics. It all happened because of one person. After all, it's Donald Trump who came to power and caused all of that chaos. Who is right? Well, actually, Elon Musk now publishes more public and truthful information compared to Donald Trump, but it doesn't mean that he is like all the time right. No, he just uses the situation in his favor. That's it. No one now respects Donald Trump, Elon Musk, Vladimir Putin, Xi Jinping. No one cares about opinion of American leader. That's what I understood. Everyone thinks that he is idiot. He is played by everyone, by all of the dictators. He's showing his weakness only. It is crazy. Yeah, remember this iconic image? It's like prediction of the future. Yeah, guys, I just don't have any more words. This is craziness, pure craziness. And if it was Russia, I think the destiny of Elon Musk would be the same as of Prigozhin's. Yeah, I don't think that Donald Trump would do the same stuff, but there is the probability also. Yeah, Elon is saying if it wasn't him, Donald Trump wouldn't be elected. Donald Trump says that he would be elected in any case. Bah. Yeah, the beef is really crazy. That's the civil war of MAGA, or maybe Elon Musk will come out with his new party. Who knows? And now, guys, let's go to the frontline updates. For the last 24 hours, Russia advanced only in Bogdanivka. So it was yesterday, it is today. We have this new update. Russia captured some of the fields and tree lines. Well, Bogdanivka is located in this Kurakhove direction, where Russia has the advantage over Ukrainian army. The problem here that there are no many settlements which Ukrainian army could use for defense. And nevertheless, Russians are still unable to propel towards Pokrovsk. Here defense of Ukraine is very strong. That's why Russians trying to go from this side, expanding this bridgehead, and let's try to go for a couple of days ago actually. But even for the couple of days, I don't see the movement of the Russian army. So finally, I guess they were slowed down or stopped. Yeah, there was like big brace in this direction of the Russian army, but finally, no any longer. But where Russia attacks now is in Sumy region. They already captured at least 10 of the villages, and we may go like several days. Yeah, it's 1 week ago and today. So for 1 week, I would say this advancement is kind of big. The front lines are now 17 kilometers away from the Sumy city, so potentially Russia may launch even their FPV drones against Sumy. And that definitely disturbs the Ukrainian army logistics in this area. However, I do not expect that Russians will take Sumy under control or something. No, they still do not have enough forces to do it. They need to waste roughly 300,000 troops to get this major city. In the town of Bakhmut, Russian army losses and Wagner losses were 25,000 soldiers. 25,000, it is crazy. So here the losses could be at least 2 times more, up to 50,000. And the entire group, as I said to you, should be roughly 300,000, which is the half of the Russian army deployed in Ukraine. There is no way for them to take Sumy in a close-by perspective in years, I would say. So what's the goal of this operation? Just to escalate, we're there in Sumy already, Ukraine should give up its territories of Donetsk, Kherson, Zaporizhia, Luhansk, otherwise they will lose Sumy and many more regions, but Russia is unable to do it de facto. And now guys, please don't forget to press your huge like to this video. By doing so, you help me a lot. And as usual, I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are and have a great time.